The Woman on the Bench. The snow fell softly on Fifth Avenue that December evening, coating the city in a blanket of white silence. Marcus Wellington walked slowly beside his daughter Emma, their breath forming small clouds in the cold air. His leather shoes crunched against the fresh snow with each step. Emma skipped ahead, her pink coat bright against the darkening sky. Marcus was tired, the kind of tired that settles deep into your bones after years of carrying too much weight. At 38, he had built an empire in commercial real estate. He had money, success, and respect. But he had lost something too. His wife, Sarah, had passed away 3 years ago, leaving him alone to raise their daughter. The penthouse apartment, the cars, the summer house in the Hamptons, none of it filled the emptiness that sometimes crept into his heart late at night. "Daddy, look, the lights are so pretty," Emma called out, pointing at the decorated storefronts that lined the avenue. She was 6 years old, with her mother's kind eyes and infectious smile. "They are beautiful, sweetheart," Marcus replied, managing a smile despite his exhaustion. He had just come from another 14-hour day at the office. His assistant had reminded him 3 times that Emma's school play was next week. He had almost forgotten again. They turned onto a quieter street, heading toward their favorite bakery. Emma loved their hot chocolate, and Marcus had promised her a treat before dinner. The snow was falling heavier now, and the street lamps glowed like small moons in the gathering dusk. That was when Emma stopped walking. "Daddy," she said quietly, tugging on his coat sleeve. "Look." Marcus followed her gaze to a bench near the corner. A woman sat there, hunched against the cold. She wore a thin jacket, inadequate for the weather. Her dark hair hung in damp strands around her face. In her arms, wrapped in what looked like several worn sweaters, was a baby. The woman's eyes were closed, her head tilted back against the bench. Snow had begun to accumulate on her shoulders. "Daddy, why is she sleeping here?" Emma asked, her voice filled with concern. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He had walked past homeless people before. In a city like New York, it was almost impossible not to. He always gave money to the organized charities, wrote checks to homeless shelters. But this was different somehow. Maybe it was the baby. Maybe it was the way the woman held the child so carefully, even in sleep. Maybe it was the look on Emma's face. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said softly. They stood there for a moment, the 3 of them forming a small tableau in the falling snow. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat loud in his ears. He thought about walking away, going to the bakery, going home to their warm apartment. But Emma's hand tightened around his. "Daddy, the baby will get cold," she whispered. Marcus looked down at his daughter. Her eyes were wide with worry, and in that moment, he saw Sarah. His wife had always seen people. Really seen them. She volunteered at soup kitchens, talked to strangers, brought home stray cats. She had taught him that money meant nothing if you kept it all for yourself. He approached the bench slowly, Emma following close behind. As he drew near, he could see that the woman was young, maybe in her late 20s. Her face was pale with dark circles under her eyes. The baby in her arms was tiny, perhaps only a few months old. The child was awake, but quiet, staring up at the falling snow with wide, dark eyes. "Excuse me," Marcus said gently. "Miss?" The woman's eyes snapped open. They were brown, filled with fear and exhaustion. She clutched the baby tighter, pulling back against the bench. "I'm not doing anything wrong," she said quickly. "We'll move." "I'm sorry. No," Marcus said, raising his hands. "I didn't mean—" He paused, searching for the right words. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The woman stared at him, suspicion and hope warring in her expression. Her lips were tinged with blue from the cold. "We're fine," she said, but her voice cracked on the last word. Emma stepped forward then, slipping past her father. "Your baby is pretty," she said simply, "but it's really cold. Don't babies need to be warm?" The woman looked at Emma, and something in her face crumbled. Tears spilled down her cheeks, freezing almost as soon as they fell. "I lost my job," she whispered. "Lost my apartment. I've been trying to get into shelters, but they're all full. I don't know what to do." Marcus felt his throat constrict. He thought about his own apartment, with its 5 bedrooms and heated floors. He thought about Emma's room, filled with toys and books. He thought about the guest suite that no one had used in months. "What's your name?" he asked. "Claire," the woman said. "And this is Michael." "Claire, I'm Marcus. This is Emma." He took a deep breath, knowing that what he was about to say would change things. But looking at his daughter's concerned face and the baby in Claire's arms, he knew it was the only thing to do. "Please, come home with us. Just for tonight. You and Michael can have a warm place to sleep, a hot meal. No strings attached. In the morning, we can figure out a better plan." Claire stared at him like he had spoken in a foreign language. I can't. I don't know you. You don't know me." "I know you're a mother trying to protect her child," Marcus said. "I know what it's like to worry about your kid. Please, it's Christmas time." "Let us help," Emma nodded vigorously. "Our apartment is really warm. And we have lots of food. Daddy makes really good pancakes." Claire looked from Marcus to Emma, then down at baby Michael. The child had started to whimper, a small sound that cut through the quiet evening. Fresh tears rolled down Claire's face. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, thank you." The walk to Marcus's apartment building took 15 minutes. He carried Claire's single bag, a worn backpack that seemed heartbreakingly light. Emma walked beside Claire, chattering about her room and her stuffed animals, her school and her friends. Claire listened quietly, occasionally looking at Marcus as if afraid he might change his mind. The doorman, George, raised his eyebrows when they entered the building, but said nothing. Marcus was grateful for his discretion. They rode the elevator to the penthouse in silence, except for Emma's continued chatter and Michael's soft cooing. When Marcus opened the door to his apartment, Claire stopped at the threshold. He saw her take in the marble floors, the high ceilings, the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. "Come in," he said gently. "Please." That first night set a pattern that would continue for weeks, then months. Marcus called his lawyer the next morning, then a social worker friend, then his accountant. Within days, Claire had appointments set up for job interviews and childcare assistance. Within weeks, she had a position at a marketing firm that Marcus's company worked with, earned on her own merit, as he made sure his HR department knew nothing of their connection. But she didn't move out right away. The guest suite became her space and Michael's nursery. Emma doted on the baby, rushing home from school each day to play with him. The apartment, which had felt so empty for so long, filled with sounds. A baby's laughter, Claire's soft singing, conversations over dinner. Marcus found himself smiling more, coming home earlier. The late nights at the office became less frequent as he discovered he wanted to be home for dinner, to hear about Emma's day, to watch Claire read stories to both children before bed. One evening in March, as they sat in the living room after the children were asleep, Claire turned to him. "I've been saving," she said. "I can afford my own place now. A nice apartment. Good neighborhood." Marcus felt his stomach drop, but he nodded. "That's wonderful, Claire." "You've worked so hard," she smiled, but there was something uncertain in her eyes. "The thing is," she continued slowly, "I don't know if I want to leave. Emma calls me every morning to come see her new drawings. Michael knows this place is home. And you—" She paused, looking at him directly. "You've become family." Marcus set down his coffee cup, his hands trembling slightly. "You could stay," he said quietly. "Not as a guest. As part of our family. If you wanted to." "I'd like that," Claire whispered. Outside, the last of winter's snow was melting, and the city was preparing for spring. Inside, in a penthouse apartment that had once felt too large and too empty, a family sat together in comfortable silence. Not the family Marcus had planned for, or the family Claire had expected, but a family, nonetheless, built from kindness, held together by care, and strengthened by the simple question a little girl had asked one snowy evening. "Daddy, why is she sleeping here?" Because sometimes, Marcus thought, the most important thing you can do is stop and pay attention to the questions your children ask. They see the world more clearly than adults do. They haven't learned to look away yet. The snow had brought them together. Love would keep them that way.